Bismillah, Assalamu Alaikum, An-Nur, brothers, all praises. Salam to y'all. Jumu'ah Mubarak.
Juma Kareem, wa alaikum salam, Salihu wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, assalamu alaikum, love and light, family.
Wa alaikum
assalam.
Beloved Arif, I see you. Beloved Shariq, all praises, Salam, beloved. Inshallah, begin opening up with the Dzikr, and we'll read the Weird of the Luminous Peacock a couple times this evening, just because we feel motivated to read that. We've been practicing that one, all praises, and I think it may go. It just feels fitting with the top of your topic today, this evening, Beloved Arif, all praises. Inshallah.
Yeah, please go ahead, brother.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum again, wa Nur to the family. Inshallah, we'll open up with Dzikr and we're to the luminous peacock as we await for fellows to continue to join. Inshallah. Astaghfirullah bihi to clear the way. Inshallah. May Allah forgive us all sins, known and unknown, committed yet to be committed. Everything in between, inshallah. Continue to guide us on this path. Protect us, protect our families in and outside of our presence. Most definitely protect our Sheikh. Increase his light, increase his station. Give him long health, prosperity forever and ever and ever in this life and the next. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi wa huwa al-aliyyul azim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Astaghfirullah bihi. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa taqabbal minni wa wajika karimi kawli ta'iban alayka bi astaghfirullah bihi. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi min zawahirin wa min ghuyub. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi min zawahirin wa min ghuyub. Sa'altu baki wa jalilahi maghfiratan min jumlatil manahi. Tutulahu min jumlatil sigaidi ma'al kabaidi wa min damaidi. Kafiru likfir kuli ma taqaddama wa ma ta'akkara wa ma bainahuma. Fahimni al-ilma wa zidni ilma wa amalan wa adban wa fahma. Rabbi alikshifil uluma nafiya wa jal ayati min shaka imaniya. Ikshifli al-asra wa gawamida kairaman kashafa siran gamida. Isma jamia ma tafara kalada katimina kariwa safil kalada. Dikula da tifakadil azamaya. Rabbi bikun wa tasiman kalamiya. Abliya ya akramu fitalawa. Kairan katiran minka wal halawa. Barikliya la umafi ayati. Wajafu adi watanal hayati. Abliya kauni bishra kuli man yatu. Wali zawahira abin mayal gayu. Kabula nakunu bihi ta'idan manal zanubi wa ma'asi wal afati. Watal ad kula janata lati wida mutakum bi rahmatika ya rahmanu ya rahimu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 100 astaghfirullahs, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna Allaha wa malaikatuhu yusallu ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallallahu alayhi wa sallim tasliman. Astaghfirullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salatu Fati. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin. Alihi wa sahbihi wa taqabbal minni wa wajhikal kareem. Mikali ta'iban alayk bi astaghfirullah bihi. Astaghfirullah. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barik ala. Astaghfirullah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatihi lima ugika wa katimi lima sabaka nashir al-haqi wal haqi wal hadi ila siratikal mustaqim wa ala alihi haqqa qadrihi wa nudari al-azim. Mean astaghfirullah. I close my eyes and went somewhere else for a second. These prayers are definitely alive. Brother Jeff. Astaghfirullah. Brother Jeff Sheikh Zulu, all praises. Salatu Tanjina, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Astaghfirullah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Salatan tunjina biha min jami'il ahwali wal afat. وتقديرنا بها جميع الحاجات تطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها إنك أعلى درجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كفيت كافها يا عين صاد كفيت كل دارين الله بسير لا إله إلا الله أبلي مراديا كما أواه بسير لا إله إلا الله يسير الأسرى كما أواه بسير لا إله إلا الله يا نبي مصطفى الله صلى لا إله إلا الله صلاة من بسلام الله بسير لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على محمد 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 صلى الله على Muhammad sallallahu ala 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 Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We'll do La ilaha illallah 100 times, inshallah. Then we read the weird 3 times, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha Shariq An-Nur, la ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha Shariq An-Nur, la ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. Muhammadu Rasulullah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Read of the luminous peacock, loading, astaghfirullah. Any mistakes, all mistakes definitely from me. All praises, any good is always from Allah. Inshallah, we will read this. Let's see if we can read it at least 3 times, so I can get our brother up. Inshallah, astaghfirullah. Weird of the Luminous Peacock by our beloved Sheikh Sufi Ba, from the Qasad Masfatul Bishri, from our master Sheikh Ahmad Ubama, Daddy Jeff, Kadim Rasul. Powerful, weird, all praises. And we pray that Allah blesses our entire Darrah with the blessings of this weird, inshallah. Can continue to guide us and protect us in our path, and forgive us for all sins, known and unknown, committed, yet to be committed, and everything in between. Wow. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa kfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa sallim magfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa sallim Magfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa sallim magfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. Bismillah. 3 more times. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa sallim magfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa sallim waqfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa sallim waqfir lil yawma bijahihi magfiratan azman. O Allah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Allah, send prayers upon our leader and master Muhammad, grant him peace and forgive us this day of forgiveness that is immediate because of this blessing, because of his blessing, astaghfirullah, peace be upon him. Again, O Allah, send prayers upon our leader and master Muhammad, peace be upon him, grant him peace and forgive us this day of forgiveness that is immediate because of his blessing. One more time, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Allah, send prayers upon our leader and master Muhammad. Grant him peace and forgive us this day of forgiveness that is immediate because of his blessing. Because of his blessing, because of his blessings, all praises. Astaghfirullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah, next part of the weird. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala al-karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Malana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli kailul imani wa kailul islami wa kailul isani wa huba lahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli kailul imani wa kailul islami wa kailul isani wa hubalahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi ta'ala sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa salam. Astaghfirullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli kailul imani wa kailul islami wa kailul isani wa hubalahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 3 more times. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli kailul imani wa kailul islami wa kailul isani wa huba lahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Oh Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli kailul ilmani wa kailul islami wa kailul isani wa huba lahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Allah, by the truth of your most exalted, generous face, existence, send prayers, peace, and blessings upon our leader and master Muhammadin, and upon his family and companions, and firmly establish for me the greatest Iman, faith, the greatest Islam, submission, and the greatest Ihsan, God consciousness, and grant me the love of Allah, the Most High, and the love of his Prophet. Prayers and peace of Allah, the Most High, be upon him. 2 more times. O Allah, by the truth of your most exalted, generous face, existence, send prayers, peace, and blessings upon our leader, Master Muhammadin, and upon his family and companions, and firmly establish for me the greatest Iman, faith, the greatest Islam, submission, and the greatest Ihsan, God consciousness. And grant me the love of Allah, the Most High, and the love of his Prophet. Prayers and peace of Allah, the Most High, be upon him. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Allah, by the truth of your most exalted, generous face, existence, send prayers, peace, and blessings upon our leader and master Muhammadin, and upon his family and companions, and firmly establish for me the greatest Iman, faith, the greatest Islam, submission, greatest Ihsan, God consciousness, firmly established for us the greatest Iman, faith, the greatest Islam, submission, and greatest Ihsan, God consciousness, and grant us the love of Allah, the Most High, and the love of his Prophet. Prayers and peace of Allah, the Most High, be upon him. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah for any mistakes. Astaghfirullah, subhana rabbika rabbil izzati wa yasifun, salamun ala mursalin, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Barkay, Serigne, Salihu, 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 Barkay, Serigne, Salihu. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Asalaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. To the beloved family, Darrah now Baki Kadeem, all praises. It is good to always see the family that is Jeff, the Sheikh Sufi Ba. Assalamu alaikum to our Sheikh who is present with us. All praises. We pray that all is well. Everyone's week has been successful and prosperous. Inshallah, without any further ado, beloved Shariq, I believe you are ready to dig deep into this discussion this evening on the basics of the science of enlightenment. All praises. I'm pleased to see you this evening, beloved brother. All praises. Assalamu alaikum. It's been a long time. Assalamu alaikum to you, Darrah Jeff.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Assalamu alaikum, family, beloved siblings, teachers, fellow students. It has been a long time. Missed you all dearly. Very, very happy to be here. Very, very blessed to be graced by all of your presence. Very blessed to be graced by your presence, Sheikh Sufi. Delighted to be here today. And inshallah, we can discuss a topic that is maybe a little counter actually to what we usually do, because we are all on the mystical path. And every once in a while, it's a little important to remember that we enter into the mystical so that it will become demystified. And the mystification itself is quite fun, but we must remember that the purpose is to reach clarity, not just to stay in mysticality. So I want to ask the one self that pervades all things and all people and all beings to make itself clear in this interaction, so that the words that come out of this mouth are clear, so that the communication that is received through the ears and the eyes is clear, and so that that which is conveyed is received instantly by that which is receiving, and clarity of the nature of nature may be abundantly clear to the incarnations of nature that are present on this call today. I want to start off by sharing a video, which is a funny video, but it really captures the entire plight of consciousness before enlightenment. Brother, do you know if can I share my screen? It looks like maybe I can actually. Okay. Okay. Can you see the video?
Bismillah, yes, brother.
Okay.
We can't hear it if you ever want to connect the audio.
No. There's no sound. Just look at the video. Just
Okay.
look at this man. Yeah.
Astaghfirullah.
Does anybody want to just come off mute and just explain what they think is happening here?
Self-realization.
Yeah, I mean, self-realization would be the goal of this. So far, this man is just in ignorance.
Yeah, right? Is he inebriated?
Yeah, precisely. Right. Maybe he's inebriated. Maybe he's just confused. But this man is clearly bumping into a mirror, right? And as he bumps into the mirror, he gets a physical sensation of bumping into something physical. He looks up and he sees an image. And whether because he's tired, whether because he's drunk, whether because whatever reason, he is under some kind of an influence that is obscuring his perception that he is in fact looking in a mirror. And therefore, he keeps trying to argue with himself about how to move forward. And no matter how hard he tries, in fact, the harder he tries, the worse that it gets, right? And he keeps trying to just get by, and he can't understand why this stranger just will not listen, why this situation has to be so difficult, and he just can't get by. That is, in a nutshell, our situation before enlightenment. Is there is this apparent reality in front of us, this apparent world that is consistent of a bunch of things and a bunch of people that are seemingly other than myself, and I'm trying to get by, and people just keep getting in my way, or things keep getting in my way, circumstances keep getting in my way, and the harder I push, the worse that it gets, because I am under the influence of ignorance. Right? In a lot of different traditions, there could be a lot of different words used for this. I don't want to use too many words today, because I really the purpose of this is to make it an extremely simple discussion. But of course, words like, in Islam, the word jahiliya exists, which means ignorance, which in the Vedic traditions, the word Maya exists, which is the word that the word matrix ultimately comes from. In a more modern context, we say the cycle. In Buddhism, they'll say you're stuck in the cycle of samsara. And a lot of times we hear these words and we imagine great grand cycles, but basically, this is all that it is. The great cycle of samsara is you not realizing that you're looking at yourself. And so you keep bumping into yourself. And the ego in that kind of, before self-realization, the inner sense of self that you have within your body, which doesn't yet recognize that it's bumping up against itself, can create all kinds of narratives here. Right? You can create the narrative that, oh my God, look at this guy in front of me. What a bad person. And you can come up with every single kind of depths of story, right? Like, you can imagine how many stories you can come up with, right? Like, is this guy actually just fundamentally bad? Is this guy some kind of an agent of the universe that's sent here to torture me? Is this a devil that's just, its only purpose is to torture me? No matter what I do, it just won't get out of my way. It will never leave me alone, etc., 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 etc. You can see where I'm going with this, right? That this very simple misunderstanding leads to the possibility of many rich stories that we can develop, and convince ourselves that these are real, because when you try to push against them, there is a sensation that feels real, right? There is the mirror against which you are coming up. There is an interaction that is happening in the material world, and we confuse that interaction in the material world to believe that there is an other entity outside of ourselves. And it is very easy to come up with extremely elaborate explanations for what is going on. But simply put, this is just you looking in a mirror and trying to realize that you're looking at yourself. And ultimately, to come to it's self-realization after all, right? You're not going to realize something other than yourself. Sheikh Sufi always says Allah is the only reality. Allah is not the supreme reality, the other reality. Allah is the only reality. So if there's only one singular reality, then that same reality is simultaneously self, what is perceived as self, and simultaneously what is perceived as other. And this is the entire, this is it. There is nothing deeper than this in terms of self-realization. Now, just because we've heard this, does that mean we're self-realized? No. I mean, it would be like I'm looking in a mirror and somebody comes by and I don't yet recognize that I'm looking at my own face. Somebody else is like, that's you, Shariq. But then I don't really know that, right? So I'm like, maybe I trust this other person. Maybe this, maybe this person is a very trustworthy person. And now I really trust this person. So I start to believe that what I'm looking in the mirror is myself. Now this person is my guru. Now this person is my sheikh, somebody who is leading me towards realization. But as long as I am only believing this person that I'm looking at myself, have I realized that it's myself, or do I just believe somebody else that it's myself? I've only believed somebody else that it's myself. And though that might give me some amount of help, it might give me some amount of respite that, okay, maybe I'm not looking at an external predator, somebody that wants to hurt me, somebody that wants to harm me. I don't really know it's me. And as long as I don't really know it's me, there's nothing I can really do with it, right? I can't really move it in the way that I want. I can't really interact with myself in the way that I want. I can't really experience what it's like to be what I am perceiving. I am still perceiving an external world of objects. I am not perceiving an alive and radiant and vibrant expression of self. But the second that I switch, the second that my perception switches from I am looking at something else that's an obstacle in my way from going forward to, oh, I'm looking at myself. Now, the entire, though nothing has changed in the physical world, right? It's not like I gained something that I didn't have before. I already had this. I've just now realized I have it, but now it becomes useful to me. Now I can move this body around. Now I can stop stressing out so much. Now I can actually enjoy existence. Now I can even look at myself, and instead of looking at it from the eyes of, is this, the eyes of fear, which is a learned evolutionary biological response that has been developed over billions of years. The response of fear, how can this person hurt me? How can this thing hurt me? I am looking beyond the lens of fear, and beyond the lens of fear is simply the lens of love. The lens of recognition is the lens of love, right? The people that we love the most, the people that we feel the greatest level of the sensation of love, the feeling of love towards, are people that we feel familiar to the most. Usually people that are members of your family or your friends who you've known for a long time. But even if you feel a feeling of love towards your sheikh or your teacher or the prophet or some kind of abstraction that you don't necessarily see with your eyes, there is a mental construct in your mind that you feel a sense of familiarity and recognition with. Therefore, you have the physical sensation of feeling love towards them. Anyways, all of that being said, let's talk about what the process of this is like. Why if it really is me, then what is even the point of all of this? Why am I going through this entire process of self-realization? Why am I even stepping into the mystical, the unmystical? Why are we talking about the science of self-realization? Well, there it is something like the analogy, and what is the process of reaching self-realization, and how do I know that I'm on the right track? Because all of us have done many things in our lives, and not all of them have brought us a sense of peace and serenity and fulfillment, which is what we're all ultimately seeking, right? We are seeking an unchanging, everlasting happiness. If we're honest with ourselves in everything that we do, behind the desire behind all of our desires is something permanent, something permanently present. It's not something that comes and goes, but rather something, an understanding, a happiness, a clarity that is ever present, that is present in all of our moments. And so inshallah, it is inevitable that we will all gain this. First of all, it is inevitable that we will all gain this. But what is the process of gaining this like? To discuss this, let's begin with an analogy for your consciousness, which is beginning this process of understanding what it is and what is this world that it finds itself in. Let's liken your consciousness to an ocean. And in order to do this, let's take a second actually to observe that your consciousness does work a little bit like an ocean. And that's why we're going to be using this analogy. So we'll do a quick semi-meditation, more of an observation than a meditation. So let's do a quick observation together. And then once we've done this observation, instead of you having to believe me that consciousness is like an ocean, you can grasp directly that it's like an ocean, and then we can go deeper into it together. So inshallah, with the cleanest intentions, let's go ahead and close our eyes. Take a deep breath into your stomach. Follow your breath deep down into your stomach. Now, bring the focus of your attention to your eyes. While your eyes are still closed, bring the focus of your attention to your eyes, the sensation of having eyes. Now, move up from your eyes just a couple of inches to just a couple of inches right behind your forehead. Bring all of your attention right there. To a place that has no sensations, but is sort of a calming, empty place. Now observe all of the different occurrences that are happening in your consciousness. There is the sound of my voice. There is the sensation of your body. There are other sounds in the background. There's some kind of light that is still making its way through your eyelids. You're having some other thought maybe about what you did earlier today. Something else is trying to gain your attention. But notice that all of this is happening in a big space. Every single one of these phenomenon are occurring in a big space of awareness that is kind of like an ocean in which there's different fishes. Like imagine your sensations and your feelings are just different animals, different fishes, different types of plants that are all existing here. You experiencing that? We're having this experience of the basic space of awareness. Nothing magical, nothing mystical. Don't try to do anything special. Just observe what is here right now. Don't try to get rid of any sensation. If your head hurts, then observe that your head hurts. That's a sensation. If your back hurts, then observe that your back hurts. That's a sensation. If you're feeling happy, then observe that. That's a sensation. But most importantly, observe the space in which the observation is happening. Just let that happen for a couple of minutes. And observe how vast this space is. Are you observing that sensations are just coming up to the surface of your awareness from somewhere deep down? Are you getting a sense that there are depths to yourself that you can't see, but from those depths are emerging like bubbles, all of your physical sensations rising up to the surface of your consciousness? Some of those bubbles get solidified and they feel like pain or they feel like irritation. But notice that they had a beginning. They just emerged in this ocean. Then they solidified and then pop. Like a bubble, they pop again too. But you are observing all of these bubbles pop up, all of these sensations pop up, and you are still present. The sensations come and go, but you remain. Your consciousness is bigger than any sensation that it has. These feelings, these thoughts, images, voices, sounds come in waves. They crash against your shore and they keep going. The energy rises from the depths. It forms a wave of experience, forms a wave of sensation. The wave crashes against the shore and dissipates its energy, and new waves keep coming in this ocean. You noticing that? Maybe you're having the thought, no, I'm not really noticing that. Well, notice that thought. Notice the wave that that thought came in on. And notice how it dissipates back. Now, slowly, but before you open your eyes, recognize what's going to happen next. When you open your eyes, you're going to be flooded with a new set of sensations, but keep noticing that all of the light that comes in is merely going to be painting the same ocean that you are observing with your eyes closed. Okay? Maintain that awareness, and with that, open your eyes and notice how it's the same space now getting painted with new sensations. But you're still in this oceanic consciousness. Everybody experiencing this? Is it clear why we're saying that consciousness is like an ocean? Does anybody have any questions? Anybody not experience it? Or anybody want to share what they experienced before we keep going? Because we're just setting up for the discussion, really. Okay, I'm gonna assume that everybody has a good handle on the experience that we're having right now. So we've noticed that sensations are coming to us like waves on the surface of an ocean, right? They keep coming. Every wave is different, but it has similar qualities to the rest of the waves. It keeps coming. It brings it. Sometimes they clash into each other. Sometimes they clash onto the surface, and they create all kinds of different reactions within us. Now, the thing about an ocean is when we're on land, we can look upon the surface of the ocean and we see some amount of waves, but we can't really experience the ocean until we enter into the ocean, right? When we enter into the ocean, we'll probably experience more intense waves at the beginning. But as we keep going deeper, well, for one, we'll notice that the waves are different beneath the surface than they are at the surface. And we'll start to notice all different kinds of creatures the deeper that we go. You know, another image that I would like to share with everybody here is just an image of the depths of the ocean. And once again, this is an analogy, right? It's not, I'm not saying this is literal, but it is a pretty good. So let's say we start off, we're just going to go through the depths of the ocean, right? And once again, we're using the analogy to describe your own consciousness. Let's say that you stay up here. You see this little boat here? You just stay here and you have a very good picture of what life is like, what kinds of feelings and emotions and experiences you have access to, but you have no idea what's right beneath the surface. Now, you dip your head in for the first time, you break the tension, the surface tension, and you look and you're like, oh my God, there's a whole big world down there. Then you learn how to scuba dive, you keep diving, and now you're coming across all different kinds of exotic creatures that you never thought were possible before. This is now we are entering into what in sort of what could be called our subconscious and our unconscious, or our collective subconscious and collective unconscious. In some spiritual traditions, the depths are called the realm of power and the realm of turbulence. And we'll discuss in a second why that is. Because as we keep going deeper, all these different creatures, they're so fascinating. And as you go deeper into your own consciousness, you find all kinds of different creatures, you find all different kinds of thoughts and feelings and emotions that you never thought were possible, but now they're here. They're a part of your subjective experience. You are actually experiencing them. And you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, a couple of things happen, right? When you're going from here to here, there is still, I mean, like definitely up until this point, there is still waves. There is still turbulence. So going from here to here, if you don't go deep enough, you'll think that the waves are forever. So that is to say that the feeling of understanding, not understanding, the feeling of knowing, not knowing, that's going to last forever. The turbulence of life, the trials of it all will feel like they're never ending. But by the time you get to here, the energy on the surface that creates waves has basically dissipated. The deeper you go, the less turbulence there actually is. And the deeper you keep going, there's less and less turbulence. Now, the deeper you go, there's also less and less light, which is to say the light that we are used to perceiving the world by. Meaning the deeper and deeper you go into your own consciousness, the rules by which we live on the surface world are more and more breakable. You are going to encounter all different kinds of experiences within yourself. You may feel like you're getting some powers. You may feel like you're meeting some angels or demons or witches and all kinds of magical creatures. You might have these experiences. Now, are these experiences as real as this bottle is or not? I don't really want to make a comment on that. I'm not as interested in like whether they're objectively real or not, because in your subjective experience, they will feel real. But you must know to keep going deeper. The purpose of self-inquiry, the purpose of all spiritual paths is to get to the bottom of the entire inquiry. This is why there is a great danger, and we'll talk about what the bottom is in just a second. But the great danger is when you are going deeper and deeper, whether it is through your meditation or through your Dzikr, maybe you're doing some kind of psychedelic drugs, maybe you're just having, through a variety of experiences, you can dig deeper. Now, if I'm trying to dig all the way deep, I can go either 90 degrees, so I can go straight down, and that is the way that I will reach my goal the fastest. The shortest distance between, the shortest path is right. That's what, by the way, when we're praying, we say ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. It's often translated as the straight path, which has a lot of, especially in our day and age, a lot of political and social political connotations. But what it really means is the most direct path. Right? Because the most direct path doesn't necessarily go in a straight line, but it is the most direct path, right? Maybe there's let me not open up some more discussions here, but the most direct path. So you can go straight down to try to reach the ground until you hit the ground, or you can go kind of, you start off here, then you're going something like this, and then you see something really fascinating all around you, and you start going around horizontally. Now, if you go horizontally, you may be having a lot of fun and you may be doing a lot of discovery, but you're not going towards your initial goal, which the goal is enlightenment. The goal is self-realization. The goal is to reach the ground. The ground, what is the ground? The ground is often what is called in our context, it's not literally ground, because awareness, unlike a physical ocean, doesn't actually have a ground. It is quite literally infinite. But there is a point which is often referred to in many different traditions. You might have heard the term wahdatul wujud. You might have heard the term ground of being, or ground of identity, unity of identity, unity of experience. It is a very real stage that you will come upon. And when you come upon this stage, your sense of self will feel like it is merging into a larger self, a more infinite self. Your sense of I, quite literally, when you say I, and then after that I, you say I am so-and-so, right? But that I that you refer to which right now feels finite, right? If we're being honest with ourselves, that I right now feels finite. We say, I is so-and-so feeling and emotion and sensation, and then everything outside of that is not I, right? When you touch the ground of being, quite literally that feeling of I-ness gets grounded, just like literally electricity gets grounded into the ground. Your built up, pent up feeling of separateness gets grounded into the ground of being. And you have quite literally the most blissful possible experience in all of existence, which is the experience of touching the source and destination of being directly. No more beliefs, no more struggling, genuinely no more beliefs, no more faith, direct experience of touching the truth, direct experience of touching the being of being. And what it will feel like is as though every single wish that you've ever had has been fulfilled. And it will feel like being fulfilled. Words cannot literally describe the experience of being in that place. And if you can, now you may have this experience and then you'll lose it again. Just like you may touch the ocean floor and then you may rise up again. But if we can learn the proper focus and techniques to keep going horizontally down or horizontally up in either direction, but just not flirting around with the horizontal area, meaning that you don't get distracted by whatever maybe magical thing that's drawing your attention. And it's no different than like in the material world, right? Your attention might be drawn by an attractive person or a car or house or something like that. Spiritual materialism is no different. To be drawn towards some kind of power or some kind of status, some kind of experience, that's no different. And it's not that it's bad. It's literally just that it's not as good as the end result is, which is being in self-realization. And if you can really keep going into the ground of being, eventually the sensation of separateness will become completely grounded until there is no separate entity that we refer to as I. Your sense of I-ness will be discovered to be everything and everyone, all of existence all together, and it will be bliss. Does that mean that you are now stuck here in this kind of blissful state? Does that mean your family and friends all disappear, this whole world disappears? No, not at all. The physical experience will remain the same. Now, people can get into very deep states of meditation. People call it samadhi, where all of these things do disappear. But that is not the point of the path of self-realization. At least not in this particular path. In the path of Islam, the path of all, the point of all of this is to get this experience merge so completely into the ground of being that you come out from the other end everybody else. Does that kind of make sense? You go in as yourself, but you come out as everyone else. That you are no longer driven by personal glory, but rather you directly experience the glory of existence itself as manifest as all people and all things throughout all time and throughout all spaces. This sounds very big, and the mind can create a very sort of delicious image and object to go towards, but it's not an experience. It's not a special experience that is going to be had. It is going to feel at the end, to sort of burst your bubble already, it's going to feel just like this, except it's going to feel great. Words cannot really describe the experience, but that is better than any experience that we can have, any high that we can experience, whether through physical means or through quote unquote spiritual means, and whatever sort of, because a lot of us, when we get into this path, when we enter into the waters, we find that there's all of these things happening, and maybe you want to go to heaven, maybe you want to leave your body, maybe you want to have some kind of a magical experience, maybe you want to meet some kind of an entity, maybe you want to meet an angel or a prophet or something like that. All of those things might happen to you while you're going deeper into the ocean. All of those experiences are very possible for you to be had, subjectively at least, in your mind, as you're traversing the realm of turbulence and the realm of power. But do not be distracted by them. The most important use of a human life is that a human life provides us with a mind that can be focused and sharpened enough to cut through every single thing that we can be offered, to go directly into being. Because once you reach being, you no longer have to seek things. You already have everything. You are already the being of all of those things. And you're already those things now, by the way. You're already the being of being. It is only that your conscious understanding is on the surface. The light of consciousness is on the surface, and it needs to make its way down to the depths of being, so that, as it is above, so it is below, so that there is no sense of separation in the different areas of awareness. And your sense of being and your sense of perception are completely one. How will it feel? Very practically, how will it feel? It will feel like looking in a mirror all the time. Just like we were watching that video earlier, right, of the man. He was, for people that joined late, I'm going to share my screen again. We've said all these very serious things, but I want to show a video that really illustrates how not serious the matter is, despite how serious it is. Okay. We look at this man right here. He's looking at a mirror and he thinks he's talking to somebody else. So he keeps getting frustrated. He's pushing into the mirror. It doesn't make sense why, things are happening this way. So he has an immense amount of suffering that is emerging from his frustration, that is emerging from his ignorance. Right? When he finally will realize, he doesn't realize in this video, but at some point he will realize, oh, that's me. I'm just looking at myself. Then his frustration will go away, and as a result of that, the suffering that was built on top of the frustration will also go away. Once the ignorance is gone, because upon the ignorance is built the frustration, upon the frustration is built the suffering, and from suffering there's also anxiety. There's all these different compounded feelings that are built up, but the root of it all is ignorance, not knowing yourself. So when you are fully, quote unquote, realized, you will realize that you are always looking at yourself. Not in a way where it's very profound, not in a way where you're going to sound cool when you say this in front of your friends, but quite literally, you will look upon everything in the world and you will not have to say to yourself, that's me I'm looking at. You will feel like that's what you're looking at. And this state will be perpetual. It will not come and go. It will remain because it is your base default state. But until you get to that base default state, it will feel the experience, and it's going to be quite a beautiful experience, right? I mean, in Islam, it's said that between you and Allah, there are 70,000 veils of light, right? That's set. Those 70,000 veils, that's what we're calling the depths of our subconscious. That's what we're calling the realm of power, the realm of turbulence. That's what we're calling the collective unconscious or the collective subconscious. That's all I'm referring to. You experience these depths on a daily basis. What I'm saying is, that the journey does end, but you must stay persistent with it. And you must stay focused towards the goal until you become I. Until you go so deep that you come out the other end, I. Until I go so deep that I come out. Is that what's happening with the sound? No, there was no need for the sound. I mean, there was some kind of sound, but like it was just the visual was the only aid we were using there. So yeah, this is a general overview of the basic process of enlightenment. Most of what I talked about today, though basically is from every single tradition, a very good formulation of this, really a lot of this talk was heavily based on and borrowed from a book called The Science of Enlightenment by Shinzen Young, which I would recommend is a great read. And really it comes from a place of wanting to demystify the process of self-realization. A lot of times, we put in a lot of cultural baggage around the process. We want people to come into our cultural tradition and the orbit of dress like me, act like me, say the words that I say, and all of that. And that has a lot of benefits. I'm not saying that doesn't have its benefits, but we must remember that the purpose is to wake up on the other end as the whole world. Not to say that this part of the world is holy and this part is unholy. As long as this duality exists in our mind, we haven't really understood that there is only one reality, and you are that. As long as we look at certain things as holy and other things as evil, as long as we think that certain things are God's doing and other things are the devil's doing, we haven't really understood the point of things. And until we understand the point of things, we cannot really transform reality. Of course, the point of it all is to ultimately transform reality into a better, kinder, softer one for everybody else involved. Is to come back with your knowledge and your realization and help others get there too. And then together you can create a better material reality for everybody. That is the goal. This is not just for personal pleasure, but it is also the most pleasurable thing that you could possibly have for yourself. So if you turn your selfishness all the way up, go in this direction. And if you turn your selflessness all the way up, then also go in the same direction. And where they meet, where there is no distinction between selfless and selfish, where there is no distinction between for me and for you, once that has happened, then be in peace, be in bliss for however long you're here for. And after that, before we go into a meditation, that's basically the end of the formal talk. So I'll open up the floor before we go into a meditation together into these same depths that we've been talking about. A quick dua that may Allah make it easy for all of us to see the truth. May Allah free us of whatever magical journey we have developed in our minds and make the truth abundantly clear to us immediately. May Allah make us ready to accept the truth immediately, and even though it shatters our illusions of what it would look like, and so that we may see that it is this right here, right now. Ameen. And with that, the floor is open if anybody has any questions or comments.
Asalaam alaikum, beloved Arif.
Walaikum assalam, brother.
Astaghfirullah. You said this is supposed to be a basic class. Astaghfirullah. This sounds very, very advanced. All praises. Practically, being that we're on this path, how do we apply what you said practically to our journeys. How would this look practically? And it's so many things that came up when you brought up the mirror and light, and I'm thinking of light refracting off of each other. And the movie that came to mind was a popular kung fu movie with Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, where he's turning the mirrors to defeat his arch nemesis at the end of the movie. All praises. And the light had blinded the the villain. So nevertheless, just thinking about how our inner lights, or our inner mirrors, as you looking inward, as you continue to you spoke of looking inward, going deep, our inward mirrors reflect the outward mirror, of course, and astaghfirullah. And if we're all mirrors, I'm thinking of our Sheikh, that is just Sheikh Sufi Ba, him being the prime mirror of our Darrah, and that light that he's shining and refracting off of everyone. That if we continue to turn our inward mirrors in such a way that we all continue to reflect off of each other, that light is going to be so bright, inshallah, as it's already growing. It's just that's just what came to mind. But practically, what does that look like practically in our path? Astaghfirullah.
Yeah, very good question, brother. What does it look like practically? Yeah, I when I say basic overview, right, it means that, I mean, we didn't really go into any like specific techniques or anything like that, right? We're just doing a quick overview of like what it looks like, right? So, but what does it mean practically? Practically, it means developing your focus. And how do you develop focus? Get a practice. And to be honest, I know that we're in a religious setting, so it's I think a very available thing is your salat, is your dhikr, right? Is your meditation, is humming and chanting. All of these are available things, but honestly, maybe other things are more enticing for you personally, right? Just like they say, what's the best workout program? The best workout program is the one that you're going to stick to. And so what is the best practice for you? Whatever you're drawn towards that allows you to focus. What is it that you do that when you do it, you're only doing that? You're not thinking about a previous moment. You're not thinking about a future moment. You are really one with the present moment. Whatever that is, take that and hone it and make it sharp so you can pierce through all the sensations and all the different desires that pull at us. And it's not, I'm not describing an ascetic path even necessarily. I'm not saying repress yourself and push away desires. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying simply see through them, see what's beyond it. Develop focus, and focus will allow us to go through the turbulence of life. But it also does help. I mean, some very direct things is if you can hold the thought, and it's just the thought, this is not necessarily realization, but the thought can help our actions. If we can hold the thought that what I am looking at is God right now, and to hold that thought, and when we lose that thought, gain it back. The second you realize that thought is lost, bring it back. As you're walking down the street, as you see somebody who's, you may, I mean, I live in New York, so walking down the streets of New York, I'm always looking at people that are passed out from, drugs or drinking or something like that. When you see that, bring the thought, this is God right now. Or if that's too much for you, this is myself right now. And don't focus your sensation of self on that particular object. Try to keep your sensation of self towards the whole scope of experience. That is really we learn to focus we learn to concentrate our focus to the smallest point possible, so that we can see that in fact the real subject of our focus is the entire field of experience. Please tell me if these are not, terms that are relatable, and I can find different terms, because what I don't want to do is give smart sounding words that are not relatable, right? What I'm trying to be as clear as possible. So when I say the field of experience, right now, you are looking at some sounds, you're looking at some feelings, you're looking at some sensations, you're looking at some physical objects, all of that. What that is happening in, that's your field of experience. Keep your attention on the field of experience and say, this is me right now, this is the self right now, this is God right now, and keep bringing that thought back until it eventually will become very clarified. Sooner than honestly when we usually think. Brother David, sorry, I thought I saw you coming off mute. Yeah.
Oh yeah, peace. Yeah, I was just I was thinking to say something and I wasn't going to, but then you know, just to keep it short, when you were talking about like the wording, I think all of it is kind of too much. Like even the word enlighten or inner, all of these things are like, for myself, and this is just my own experience. It's like, I like how earlier when you were given, your certain analogy about the ocean, and it's like, and that's for your own self to bring yourself in, but that's like not my experience. Has been completely different with this whole moment. So it's like, but what I realized for myself, that I will say, one thing that has helped me with this enlightening type of path, because I didn't come on the path looking. It's like I was already born on this path. So I wasn't, I always was self-aware, and my self-awareness led me to be where I'm at. It's like, because if it didn't, then I wouldn't be here. So my self-awareness, without me saying, oh, I'm going to be enlightened by said thing, it's like it led me to these particular paths in order for my vocabulary to be able to explain it in different ways. But it's a very simple term, because I have children. So my children, when they come out, they only know what I show them. Their awareness is only coming from outside of me. So as they grow, everything that they learn and they find important is always gained from outside of them. But one thing that a mirror does, and whenever I was looking at that, the guy in the mirror, and all of us can be vain. We say looking in the mirror is vain, but all of us speak to the mirror. All of us, even whenever you're looking right here on Zoom, if you can see yourself, you're speaking to a mirror. So I looked at that as basically a conversation. Anytime you have a conversation with your inner conversation with yourself, it may not always be peaceful. So whenever you're looking at yourself in the mirror in the morning, or whenever you're there, you may be speaking to yourself like, man, why'd you do that? Or wow, look at your face. Or, you have this type of dialogue. In the mirror set up for the outer dialogue to see, because you can't see the inner self. So raising children, I realized they already are self-aware, but everything that I put into them confuses them as to see things in their own innocent way, because their view of the world is innocent. It's not marred by all of the words and all of the religious things. It's only marred by what we show them, because we can't kind of bring them along in a way we could say that this is wholesome because this is how we feel is wholesome. But in this journey, what I found is raising my children and seeing that in me, seeing myself and how I interact with them. It also shows why I myself am in where I'm at, because I liken it to my grandmother making me go to church. I don't go to church now. I don't go to a mosque, but yet to instill that sense of God, searching for God, or getting an understanding of that. It's like I just adapted it to however my life moved. So the self-awareness was always there. It's just now we add the words to it, like enlighten or introspection or these types of things, which could seem like it's they could kind of make it seem more mystical, but in reality, we do it every day. It's like it's something that we do every day. And I found like I had a situation where I thought I was going to pass away just not too long ago. So in myself, in my own feeling of me leaving, I wanted to make sure that I made amends that minute and day with all my children because I haven't been speaking to them. And at that very moment, I realized I'm not permanent. I don't want to be permanent, but I want to make sure that my last minute, my last breath, there's harmony within myself and there's harmony within those that are around me, because it's that quick. That's the bliss, because everything that we gain and however we manifest it, it dies with us. Every experience that we have that we say, oh, this is God, or this is enlightenment, or this is hell. Whenever we're holding it, it's only us. So it's like we manifest it. How we manifest it is how it's going to be shown, and somebody may not see like, oh, he's enlightened or he's wise or this. It's just like if you take those words and you say, I'm going to apply it, it may not manifest that you being able to read 1,000 books or quote everything. It may just you just are content. I'm content here. So, I feel like my experience is that it's like the rearing of children also made me look into myself, because then I realized, there's no original sin because they didn't ask to be here. I brought them here. I had helped to bring them here. So in turn, somebody brought me here. So I somebody helped bring me here. I didn't know I was going to be here. So it just made sense for me to be here, hearing these things. So it's like, it's not difficult, but it's like, no, right now, like you said earlier, that you already are enlightened. You just being here. I remember speaking when I first met Professor Kareem, and I was in the house and he said, there's a reason why you're here, because not everybody's here. Not everybody got to sit with Professor, who did. But me being there, he said, there's a reason why you're here. And I'm like, I didn't know that I was going to meet him. I didn't set up like, I'm going to go meet Professor. It's like, I had no clue. So that being said, it's like to know that we're already there. It's just like, Sheikh was saying, it's like, how is it materialized, how it manifests? It's like, it manifests in just what we're doing. It's like manifested. That's what you're doing. It's like however it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brother David, for saying that, because it's not, as much as I'm saying that I don't want to make it mystical, right? Any word that I use makes it sound magical, makes it sound special, but it's the most simple of things. In fact, the only real, honestly, the only real proof is the simpler that it feels. If it keeps building up to, am I now a so-and-so? Am I having this kind of experience? Am I having that kind of experience? It's really not it. It's the simplicity. It's this right here. And no actual words describe the basic, simple experience of being you. It's already you. Everything that we're doing is basically like, because we think that there are like chains around our hands, but they're not. Like, imagine, like right now, I thought that I had like handcuffs on, right? And people keep telling me I don't have handcuffs, but I believe that I have handcuffs, right? So now somebody's got to be like, okay, Shariq, you have handcuffs on. Why don't you do this? And then why don't you do this? And then you'll break your handcuffs. And then in my head, I think I've broken my handcuffs, so now I feel free. That's the whole spiritual path. You're already free. You are already that. You are already the self. The whole path is us kind of playing a game so that we can feel satisfied with the experience, with this journey. But it's you in the end. And until we give up our attachment to wanting more and more intricate, more and more complex rabbit holes, we come to appreciate the bliss that is the simplicity of existence. But it's here right now. It's you right now. It's you all the time. It's not you know, it's all of these things that I'm saying. These are just complex words to describe the most simple of things, which is it's what experience happens in. It's not that, you know, experience itself can become very rich and very complex, but that which experience happens in, that which experience happens to the self, always simple. It is in fact the simplicity against which complexity can be measured. And it's yeah. Anything more I say is really taking away from what the brother said and what is really the point of this talk. Anyone else want to share anything?
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
One of the names of Allah that came to me this throughout the whole conversation was Ya Latif. And you know, the deeper understanding of Ya Latif is understanding the deep subtle nature behind all beings within creation. And when we connect with Allah, what it says in the Quran, when we bring Allah a sound heart, Allah reveals that nature to us through our experiences and our situations. Ya Latif, so subtle through these things and our hardships and all of this chaos brings organization through us being able to have the subtle understanding of the underlying nature of these people or family, our job, all of these different things that we see is just material, and understand how that operates to actually get through life through that basic level of just basic, like we say, just simple life itself. We gain a lot of high levels of elevation through it, because that is more or less the part of the deeper purpose within it. But I just wanted to share that name that was just beating upon my heart through the whole thing, that Ya Latif, understanding the nature, like the snake. We know the snake bites and it has venom. We know that the birds are a certain way. We can't become upset and frustrated with all of these things when we have Ya Latif upon our heart. We know how to maneuver within that energy, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Yeah, you know, a couple of hadith Qudsi that come to mind, you know, in response to what you said, brother, is, you know, there's a hadith where Allah says, Allah says, I am as my believer believes me to be. Which is, you know, it's really telling you what's really going on here, right? Is that reality appears to you as you believe it to be, because you are reality. You appear as you believe yourself to be. You know, another one is you know, the closer you try to come to me, the closer I'm trying to come to you, right? Because it's yourself. It's this very simple existence. And when you come to the realization that that is what you are this existence itself. You are not your name and your fame and your titles, all of which will pass away, but you, that which is existence, that will remain, and new things will come into existence, you know. But you understand that you are the subtle being of all those things, then you can really rest in whatever happens. And simultaneously, you can rest in whatever happens, and you can make things happen without waiting for things to happen at the same time. That duality between the world does things to me and I do things to the world, gone forever. It's just, I'm dancing and I can choose how I want to dance.
Bismillah, before we go into meditation, I just want to say that Jeff, excuse me, astaghfirullah for Josh and earlier, beloved. I just wanted to pull that out of you, and all praises for the beloved Shariq An-Nur, Dawood, gave that, and the beloved Imam. There's, like you said, there's no words, all praises. I'm at a loss for words. So it's just a beautiful listening as well. So if, for anyone who may come across this video in the future, we pray definitely that they receive some enlightenment, inshallah, and become lighter in life, inshallah. To Darrah for your khidmah, beloved, all praises. Darrah,
Thank you so much, brother, for everything that you do for this Darrah and organizing all of these things. You know, in very practical terms, you know, it's the organizers that make things happen, you know. And so, you know, may Allah bless you and give you all of the rewards and of everything that, you know, the people that listen and the people that speak, accumulate, truly. I mean, okay, inshallah, let's jump into the ocean for a little bit together, and let's just enjoy the simplicity that is, and then inshallah we can go our separate ways again, but always remain in this union. So let us begin with closing our eyes and bringing the attention to our breath. Deep breath in. Hold it. Let it go slowly. Now let's bring our attention to the very bottom of our spine, the physical sensation of the bottom of our spine. Bring all your focus and all your attention to this area. Breathe into it. See what it feels like. Sit in its experience. Let the energy move through. Don't try to hold it. Don't try to control it. Just let it flow. Now let's move up one level to right by your navel. Still focusing on your spine, but just a little bit higher up. Breathe in deep here. Hold. Slowly release. Let the energy flow upwards naturally. Don't force it. Just keep your focus on it. Now bring your focus towards your heart, where your heart is, your physical heart, and your spine right behind the heart. Deep breath. Hold. Slowly release. Let the energy spread throughout your body, but keep your focus on your spine. Now move up through your spine to your throat area. Deep breath. Hold. Slowly release. Allow all the tension from the area to flow. Now let's move up to the base of our head. Find the sensation right at the base of your head, where your spinal cord connects into your skull. Deep breath. Hold. Slowly release. Let the tension release. Let the energy flow. Keep the focus on the spot. Keep the focus on the spine, but let the energy flow out of it. Now let's move upwards and bring our attention to right above our eyes, a couple of inches behind our forehead, to the center of our brain. Deep breath. Let the energy from the spine flow up to this point and hold it there. Slowly release. Keep your focus in that area. Concentrate your focus. And now push it through the top of your head. Feel the sensation of touching the top of your head. And bring it right above where your head ends. To the space right above your head. Bring all your focus and attention to that area. Deep breath focusing on this area. Hold it here. Now slowly let it all go. Now let it go from the base of your spine where we started. Let the energy keep flowing freely all the way out your head. Let your sensations flow through your body to out of your body. And notice that you're not inside of the body, but that the body sensations are inside of your space of awareness. Try to make the journey with every breath. Breathe it in deep into the bottom of your spine and breathe it out all the way up the spine. With every in-breath, go all the way from the top to the bottom. With every out-breath, go all the way from the bottom to the top. You can rest here for as long as you like, and you can return here whenever you like. This is yourself, your home. This is your source and your destination. You need to go nowhere else to find this holy ground. And wherever else you go, it is only here that you will come back to. May we all have blessed lives, blessed nights. May we become sources of peace in the lives of everybody who interacts with us. May we become sources of loving, caring transformation in the world. May we be lights in the darkness. May we be kindness in the face of cruelty. May we be softness in the face of hardness. Peace be upon you all. Light be with you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Ameen. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Did anyone have any other questions or comments or any experiences that would be closed out from the meditation? Astaghfirullah. Close the words for our beloved Arif Billah this evening. Astaghfirullah. Did it, Jeff, again? Sure. All praises. Not, then, Sheikh, I'm going to recite Al-Fatiha, and I want to bring up this weird of the luminous peacock one more time because it definitely spoke to exactly what you spoke of this evening. All praises. And we are going to pray this over us one more time and close out with, and over our entire Darrah, friends, families, loved ones, and again, all those, as you said, to come in contact with us, inshallah. Once, twice. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد صراط عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Bismillah. This is the Weird of the Luminous Peacock, again by our beloved Sheikh Sufi Ba, who has prepared this from the Qasad of our master Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba from Fatul Bishri. All praises. And just briefly, this first section, asking for forgiveness, ever so powerful. This is a weird that is in our WhatsApp chat. If you are looking for it or want to practice this one along with anything else you may be practicing, you can reach out. I'll try to send it before the night ends, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa sallim wa kfir lo yoma bijahihi makfiratan azman. And we'll do it two more times. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa sallim wa kfir lo yoma bijahihi makfiratan azman. Bismillah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa sallim wa kfir lo yoma bijahihi makfiratan azman. Bismillah. The translation reads, O Allah, send prayers upon our leader and master Muhammad, peace be upon him, grant him peace, and forgive us this day of forgiveness that is immediate, because of his blessing. All praises. Astaghfirullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. One more time. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli khairul imani wa khairul islami wa khairul isani wa huballahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Bismillah. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli khairul imani wa khairul islami wa khairul isani wa huballahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. One more time. Allahumma bihaqi wa jalahi ta'ala karimi. Salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa tabitli khairul imani wa khairul islami wa khairul isani wa huballahi ta'ala wa huba rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Astaghfirullah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. O Allah, by the truth of your most exalted, generous face, existence, this intention just by his face, all praises is what the beloved was speaking of today, that we focus just on the face of Allah. Inshallah. O Allah, by the truth of your most exalted, generous face, send prayers, peace, and blessings upon our leader and master Muhammadin, upon his family and companions, and firmly establish for me the greatest Iman, that's faith, the greatest Islam, submission, the greatest Ihsan, God consciousness, Tawhid, as we were just speaking of, all praises, and grant me the greatest Ihsan, all praises, and grant me the love of Allah, the Most High, and the love of his Prophet, prayers and peace of Allah, the Most High, be upon him. Gotta read it 2 more times. Oh Allah, about the truth of your most exalted, generous face, send prayers, peace, and blessings upon our leader and master Muhammad, Bismillah, and upon his family and companions, and firmly establish for me the greatest Iman, the greatest Islam, and the greatest Ihsan, God consciousness, and grant me the love of Allah, the Most High, and the love of his Prophet, prayers and peace of Allah, the Most High, be upon him. And 1 more time, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Oh Allah, by the truth of your most exalted, generous face, send prayers, peace, and blessings upon our leader and master Muhammadin, upon his family and friends, and firmly establish for us the greatest Iman, faith, the greatest Islam, submission, and the greatest Ihsan, God consciousness, and grant us the love of Allah the Most High and the love of his Prophet, prayers and peace of Allah the Most High be upon him. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Salamun ala mursaleen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Barkay Kadim Rasul, Barkay Kadim Rasul, Serigne Tuba, Barkay Kadim Rasul, Serigne Tuba, Barkay Kadim Rasul, Serigne Tuba, Barkay Kadim Rasul, Barkay Kadim Rasul, Serigne Tuba, Barkay Kadim Rasul, Serigne Tuba. Ya Bamba Ba, that a Jeff, Astaghfirullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Juma Mubarak to the family. Love, light, and all blessings. May Allah continue to guide us. Astaghfirullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alaikum salam. Peace, peace.